What is up, party people? I am Emily Jones, joined by...
I'm Julie Dobbs.
Julie Dobbs.
Hey, Em.
Hey, Julie. And this, together, we are the Mom Game. Which is, we did not intend to sound so cheesy doing that. That was
We didn't.
We just sounded like a Saturday Night Live skit. We are the Mom Game. This is the Mom Game. Mm-hmm. This is our maiden voyage. This is our first podcast. We're super excited. If you're listening to this, God bless you, first of all.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. We have very little clue as to what we're doing, which is kind of how we live our lives, which is kind of why we're doing this.
Yes. Good point.
The whole purpose of this first episode of the Mom Game is to give you, the listener, the viewer, an idea of who we are, what to expect from this podcast, and kind of how it came to be. And so, Julie, I want to start with that, how it came to be, because this was your idea, and this is your fault.
It is my fault.
It's your fault.
Thank you for showing up and not bailing at the last second.
You drug me into this.
We are here. We are doing this.
I'm just kidding. But tell everyone why you decided this was something you wanted us to do.
Well, first of all, you and I have known each other a really long time, like more than 10 years from working in TV a long time together at Fox Sports Southwest. And you're somebody that I just love and that I think is awesome. And I love how you've taken your career path, where you've gotten it now at this point, and how real you are, and your tweets and just everything that you say. Whenever I was reading your tweets, I was thinking, okay, she's funny and she has other stuff she wants to say. I have a lot of other stuff I want to say about life.
This podcast is basically just you telling me how awesome I am.
Pretty much.
This is going to be fantastic. Keep going.
But a big part of it was doing it with you. It wasn't just me saying, I want to do a podcast. I'm going to find whoever I can, because like we've talked about, there's a million podcasts. There's a million people doing it. And I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing it. But since we worked in TV together, I've now found myself in radio. So I'm talking a lot and I like to talk. And the things that we talk about at The Ticket are great. We talk about sports a lot. We talk about a lot of dude stuff. We laugh. We talk about farts and sex and porn. Yes, all of those things. And it's fun. And I like rolling with it and I love it. But I know a lot of women listen and a lot of women watch baseball. And there's just a need, I feel like, especially here in Dallas, for something for women to listen to. Women who love sports, women who don't love sports, women who have kids, women who don't have kids. But I felt like you were the right person, and I felt like this was the right time to just kind of get this platform out there. Because I don't know about you, but I go through my day, so many things happen in a given day that I just think are funny and I just think are random when it comes to my kids, when it comes to trying to balance it all, even just getting here today, right? It's a chore for both of us just to make it through each day. So to have an outlet where we can talk about it and have fun and laugh, and hopefully other people who are going through their day dealing with some of the same stuff we're dealing with, trying to balance it all. Hopefully this can be a place that they can listen and that they can relate to.
And I think too, because first of all, thank you for all the sweet things you said. I wouldn't have done this if you hadn't said those previously.
Okay, good.
No, I'm just kidding.
So you'll stay.
I'll stick around for at least one more episode. But I think we do have a unique perspective, because we have been in this crazy sports industry as women for quite some time. That automatically gives us a unique perspective, because we oftentimes see things from the male perspective while still having that female edge to us, because after all, we are still females.
Yep.
And so I think that's what appealed to me when you pitched this idea to me, why I thought it would be fun, because I feel like it's something different. I feel like there's a lot of, mom podcasters out there. I feel like there are a lot of, sports podcasts. Lord knows there are a ton of those. But I feel like this is going to be a fun little mix and the kind of colliding of two worlds that I think we really will have a good time. And both of us are pretty much open books. We're, we're pretty honest. We're pretty, self-deprecating. We're self-aware. I like to think, I hope, most of the time.
Yep.
And so I hope that, we can have a little fun. I hope that we'll provide, I think if the one thing I've wanted to do throughout my career is to be identifiable. So I want people to be able to identify with me. I want people to be able to feel comfortable telling me their stories, because I've felt comfortable telling them mine.
Exactly.
And so I feel like this is a great outlet for that. Okay, because of that, and there may be people listening, they're like, okay, someone told me about this podcast, these chicks, who are they? So I feel like we need to, in this first episode, give everyone kind of a little background on each of us.
Yeah.
And so I want to start with you. You and I met how many ever years ago? Gosh.
2006 probably.
Okay.
Because I interned at Fox before I graduated college.
6. So I think 04 was my first year at Fox. So I met you just a couple years
Yeah.
into my job at Fox Sports Southwest. So I was working at Fox Sports Southwest. You came to us from Mizzou, which is always has a kick-ass broadcast school.
Yeah,
and
that's why I went.
Turns out,
I didn't
yeah,
go to the middle of America for nothing.
right. And they churn out great broadcasters. So you come from a fine university, Miss Julie.
thanks.
So from there, from the time we met, kind of take me on that path. Maybe a little bit of background about your childhood, where you grew up.
Yeah. So I was born here in Dallas, but I moved to Austin when I was 9. Parents got divorced. Mom ended up remarrying, moving to Austin, so we all went. And I loved growing up there. Went to Austin High School and then went to Mizzou for broadcast journalism. I just kind of always hoped to work in TV. It was always TV. It was never radio. But I wanted to work in TV, and I found out that that'd probably be the best place to go. And so I went and graduated with a broadcast journalism degree. I had interned at Fox Sports Southwest. I came back and started working there. Did a lot of different things there. I edited B-roll. I started producing a Stars show, which ended up becoming something that I did for like 8 years and a long time, and it led to a lot of other great things. I started hosting that show mainly because they needed a host, and they could bundle me under one, like, let's pay her this much and do everything. And that was fine. I wanted to do as much as I could, and it was great. Then started doing the sideline reporting for the Stars, which I know you did some of too, way back when. And did that for a couple of years, and then eventually found myself at the Ticket. Once that kind of fell through, I guess, or whatever, with TV, and I knew I wanted to be in Dallas. I didn't want to move. I met my husband, by the way, through that job. He's on the coaching staff for the Stars, which is awesome and fun, but also creates a hectic lifestyle, which we can talk about. But I wanted to stay in Dallas. He still had his job. So basically just kind of reached out to Sean Bass, who's a good friend at the Ticket. And once something opened on the weekends, I started doing weekend tickers there. And then once something opened up during the week, daytime, I figured why not? So applied for that job, and that's what I'm doing now. So kind of everything in a nutshell. It was a long-ish TV career, and now it's turned into radio. And now it's just the trying to balance it all. It's trying to balance it all. I had 2 kids along the way, obviously fought cancer along the way, which we can talk about as much as we want, because I know a lot of people are dealing with that.
Let's just not obviously that. Oh, obviously just fought and beat cancer.
True.
No big deal.
But do we
no
want to
big
do
deal.
a cancer segment?
No, I know. No, but it's
an
a big
awkward
part
thing.
of your, but it's a big part of your story, and it's changed your perspective, and it gives you a completely different lens on how you view this world. And so just briefly, I mean, we can talk in depth about it because I know I have a ton of questions, but we'll save that for a later date. Yeah. But just like give me, tell us and I remember when you got diagnosed and what you went through, and when you got diagnosed, how you fought it, how you beat it.
Yeah. Well, it came out of nowhere, not like you're ever expecting it, but I was 28 years old and didn't have family history of it. My mom didn't have it. My grandmother didn't have it, but basically felt something weird, went and saw a doctor after talking to a couple different doctors who wanted to call it an infection and wanted me to kind of, just get this prescription and it'll be okay. But we might want a biopsy, but that'll take 2 to 4 weeks till we can get you in. I did the music screech in my head. I'm like, no, if you say the word biopsy, I want to do this as soon as possible. So I did. And then it came back as breast cancer. And at that moment, everything stops, your world kind of stops, and it feels very surreal.
And this was pre-kids.
This was pre-kids. Yes. Kelly, my now husband, and I were dating, and I was doing Stars games. I wasn't the full-time sideline reporter or rinkside reporter yet, but I was really hoping to be, and I was kind of starting to get to fill in some and all of that. So I felt like things were going really well there. Things were going really well personal life, and then you get kind of hit with that bomb. And I just went full speed ahead, like into the treatment. I went full speed ahead with my life. I started chemo with the type of tumor that I had. It was growing really fast, and they said, let's do chemo as soon as we can. We want to stop this from growing anymore, and then we'll figure out what to do with it. So I had a great doctor at Baylor, an oncologist who just, I mean, literally saved my life. And we started the chemo quickly. And after that was all wrapped up, I had a double mastectomy. Yes, they cut both my boobs off. Mm-hmm. We're being real here. Right. And I have some new ones and they're fine.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't want to have none. I mean, that didn't sound like a good choice. So that happened, and then went into radiation after that. While I was going through chemo, Kelly proposed, which is just like, I still get chills. I'm like, he literally didn't know if I was going to survive. And because it was a really kind of scary triple negative, that was what they called it, triple negative breast cancer diagnosis at that point. And they didn't really say what level it was, but it was basically like stage 3. And it doesn't have a great prognosis, not terrible. There's worse ones. But we really didn't know at that point what was going to happen. And I had a wig on when he proposed. You know, the pictures are still, I have so many emotions when I see those pictures, because my ultimate first emotion is like cringe, like, oh my God, that hair. I'm like, okay, well, that's not the main thing here.
Right. So let's keep things in perspective.
Yes.
You're alive. That's the first part.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
But I get it.
Yeah. And then I wore that same wig at my wedding. So I have that for all my wedding photos. But you're right. Like, none of that mattered. And it all ended up working out. But yeah, did the chemo, did the double mastectomy, did the radiation. We got married along the way, and knock on wood, so far I'm 5 years cancer free. And Kelly and I have 2 babies.
So awesome.
And yeah, because you don't know what the cancer does to your body at that point.
Sure.
You know, we were told it was going to be really hard to have kids, and then boom, I was pregnant like immediately after we got married when we were not even trying. And then boom, I was pregnant again. So it's great. I have Ryder and Anna now. Ryder is 5, almost 5, and Anna is almost 2. And found this new job, and Kelly's still with the Stars, and we're just living life and just trying to make it all work, you know, like everybody. But yeah, that was a definite bump in the road. And I feel like you kind of referenced this, but as a result of that, I try to really live every day like it can be my last. And I try to tell people about this as well, because you really don't know. And some people get so caught up in all the minute details of their day and of their life. And, oh, I'm just stressing this, or I'm stressing that, or the person in front of me reclined their seat on the airplane and I'm going to cause a, you know, whatever. And it's just like, okay, take a step back. Like, we're here. We have this beautiful life to live. And I don't want to preach, but it's all about just finding happiness, finding things to do that make you happy. And that's what I'm doing in radio. And then finding ways to pay the bills, right? That's part of it too. So that's kind of where this came into play. It's like to supplement that and to have fun and just to talk about real things that really matter and that people can relate to.
Sure. Well, I feel like it completely, I mean, I have not overcome cancer. I didn't beat cancer.
But you fell on the dance floor not long ago.
Fake boobs. I did tear my meniscus on a dance floor. I got a cortisone shot and I was running like 2 days later.
That's a good story.
I mean, that's pretty much all I've got as far as trying. I should have gone first. Damn it. That's okay. It's okay.
I will ask you.
Okay.
So starting out in this industry, I guess, like, were you like me? Were you in high school saying, this is what I want to do? And kind of take us on that path of initially how you got started, because we know a lot about what you're doing now, which we also want to know more about. But how did you get started, and kind of how did you find yourself here?
Yeah, for sure. So this is what I've always wanted to do as far as being in sports. I didn't know exactly what that looked like. Probably about fifth, sixth grade, somewhere around there in that middle school age. I identified like Linda Cohn, and I was like ESPN Sports Center anchor. And basically it's because my sister was super into sports. So was I. We were raised by my dad. And so a lot of our family time revolved around sports, watching sports on TV, going to sporting events, all that kind of stuff. And so she was like, how cool would that job be to just talk about sports all day? And I was like, oh my gosh, that would be awesome. And I get to be on TV. This would be so amazing. I mean, now I can't think of anything worse than being a Sports Center anchor, stuck behind a desk all day. But that's where kind of the impetus was for me wanting to do this. And so basically everything that I did, you know, school-wise, all that kind of stuff was geared toward that. I graduated from Plainview High School, which is a small town in West Texas. Went to school at Texas Tech, graduated in 3.5 years. I was ready to go. I was ready to get to work. Like I was ready to start this. I knew that I had to have experience, and you couldn't have experience without experience. And so I wanted to start getting all of that. So I graduated from Tech in December of 98. Got a job with the local NBC affiliate there in Lubbock. I was a news reporter for 2 years.
Always fun.
Hated it. So serious. So boring.
Yep.
It just was stunk. And so you know what? I mean, I guess I was okay at it. I didn't feel like I was that good at it. And I wanted to be able to show, excuse me. Came out of nowhere.
You're good.
I wanted to be able to show my personality, like burping on live television.
Exactly. Why not?
That wasn't a burp, by the way. It was a hiccup.
What was that?
It was a hiccup. So I wanted to be able to show my personality. My goal was to get into sports. I had an offer in Tulsa, Oklahoma to be their number 3, which just to pull the curtain back a little bit in TV, like usually in smaller markets, there's a 3-man sports department. You have your sports director, which is like in Dallas, Fort Worth. That's Newey Scruggs, Dale Hansen, Babe Laufenberg. Is Babe still there? Babe Laufenberg?
Yeah,
Babe Laufenberg?
No, he's not. He does the Cowboys.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is on CBS 11.
I don't know either.
Mike Ducey. So it's Mike Ducey on Fox 4.
Yeah.
So Ducey, Hansen, Newey, Scruggs. So like that type. So that's the number 1. Sports director, number 1 head honcho. And then there's the number 2, which usually fills in on the weekends. And then the number 3 is kind of like the little utility player, can do whatever. So I got an offer to go to Tulsa as the number 3. Well, the station in Lubbock wouldn't let me out of my contract. I was super bitter. But then 2 months later, they offered me the sports director's job, which was the number 1.
Why not?
Why not? 23 years old, a chick in the buckle of the Bible Belt, talking sports every night at 6 and 10. Can you imagine how well that went over? It did not go over well.
Well, it prepared you for whatever was going to come your way for the next
all of it. If I had a
decades, right?
dime for every time an old man came up to me and said, "What do you know about sports, darling?" and all this stuff. I mean, it was at the time I was the second woman at a major network affiliate, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, to hold that position.
Wow.
They just didn't put him in that position, and rightfully so, because we were going to get completely like just dragged over the coals. And I did. I was young, and to be honest, I wasn't qualified to do that job. I still to this day don't know why they did that. Why they gave it to me,
saying this all worked out.
We made a good
decision, right?
But I mean, I got thrown into the fire, and the criticism was harsh, and it was huge. And but it's made me. I learned how to handle it really quickly. I feel like it's made me stronger. It's made me tougher. It's made me now when I look at walking into clubhouses and locker rooms and all that kind of stuff, I was prepared for whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for that. So for 4 years, I was a sports director there. Got the opportunity in 2004 to come to DFW to work for Fox Sports Southwest, and jumped at that opportunity and covered everything from the Mavericks to the Stars to the Cowboys to the Rangers, Big 12 football, high school football, everything in between. Mm-hmm. Having been at Fox Sports Southwest, you cover pretty much everything there. And so I was there for 9 years. And then after I had my second baby, I just thought maybe it's time. Like, it's been a 15-year run. It's been a great run. I've loved every minute of it. Maybe it's time. I was taxing my family. Like, I felt like the schedule was out of control, and I just needed to kind of get my brain around. It just was too much.
Well, and not only that, but focus on one sport.
Right. Yeah.
That was something I loved too about doing Stars.
Yeah. And so I was just like, I'm going to say goodbye. Like, maybe it's just time to walk away from TV. And I talked to the Rangers, not kind of informally, about possibly going to work for them. And over the course of time, during my time at Fox Sports Southwest, I developed a very really organic, evolutionary relationship with the organization. The team, the players, the staff, the front office, their families, all of that. And so it was a really natural transition for me that when I left Fox, they were like, would you consider just working for us? We'll create a position for you, and you will have the off season off. You'll do some appearances for us. You'll work a select number of road games and then do the vast majority of the home games. What do you think about that? And I'm like, in.
Sounds amazing.
So I have 6 months off basically with, you know, I do some appearances for them and, you know, do some things for them during that time. But pretty much from as soon as we're done, hopefully someday back soon in the playoffs, until, you know, spring training. I go to spring training in early March, and then, you know, I have that time off. And then during the season, you know, I'll work almost all the home games, and then about 35 this year road games. And so it's a great balance for me.
Yeah.
I kind of, if you would have told me, you know, 10 years ago, or no, 15 years ago, that this would be my jam, like I would told you you're crazy. I wasn't even really a hardcore baseball girl. Like I liked it, but I just fell in love with the team, the organization, the game.
Yeah.
And so it just happened super organically. And now this is like, you know, people talk about the icing on the cake. Like I feel like I've had a 20+ year career in TV, and I feel like I already had the icing, and like this is like the cherry on top of the ice cream and the whipped cream. Like
exactly,
this is it.
And while it still feels that way, that's as long as you want to keep doing it, right?
For sure.
It's like when we're still loving what we're doing, it doesn't feel right walking away. And I know that's something that you've kind of battled with, you know, the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But when it gets the juices flowing, and when you're having fun and you love going to work, like it's hard to stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I do cartwheels out of bed every day, like, you know, woohoo.
Right.
But I mean, I enjoy going to work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't like putting on makeup. I don't like fixing my hair. You know, I don't like certain things. I mean, I'll be a lot happier now that we're going to move into the new park, and I don't have to sweat my rear end off.
You're the happiest one, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, but I truly enjoy what I do. I was texting the guys yesterday, and I'm like, how is it going? How are the new guys? Like, do you guys miss me? Like, you know, what's the vibe like? All that kind of stuff. And they're like, you know, I'm like sure they're like, what is wrong with her? So I miss being around it when I'm not there. Now, don't get me wrong, like September 15, I'm like, okay, it's about time for baseball season to wrap up, you know?
Right, yeah.
But I do feel like, I really feel like
games.
Yes, a lot of games. Like it's a really great balance for me. It's the best of both worlds. I do 1-year contracts every year, just so I have that flexibility, and the Rangers are great about that, about not making me sign 2-3-year deals, to where I honestly feel like after every season, it's my opportunity to reflect and see if it's time. Yeah. I mean, and granted, like they could tell me that they don't want me back after this season or next season or whatever, but for me to have that to where I don't feel like I'm tied down, is a really nice luxury to have.
And with that job and the job that I had with the Stars for a while, it's such an interesting role because you are in the room with them. You're in the dugout, like basically next to the dugout during the games. And I feel like with you, the way that you have established yourself with that team as being, yes, kind of one of the guys, but also very professional and doing your job and doing a really good job at it, and not just letting that go by the wayside because, oh, look, I'm having fun. They love me, so I'm not going to try anymore. Like none of that. You're very professional, yet you've achieved the kind of goal where you connect with the team, you connect with the fans, and they want you there, and they're going to give you better stuff because they want you there and because they like you. And so I just want to say, like, that's something that I also really love and appreciate about you, and I think what makes you different than so many other people that do it and that work in this industry.
Well, you're sweet. I feel like that just happens over time. Like that's just, it takes time to develop that. It takes time to develop those relationships, and I don't have them with everyone, with every guy in that clubhouse. Well, right. I mean, Lance Lynn and I aren't besties. Let's be real.
Is he besties with anyone?
But I feel, you know what? I think that I may have turned a little bit of a corner with him. I think we're going to see a new Emily friendly Lance Lynn this year.
Some totally better post game scrums.
It's going to be amazing. Okay, I don't want us to get too far deep into stuff because we're going to have a million episodes to talk about, like specifics about our careers, our jobs, all that kind of stuff. I still want, like I said, to give people who are still listening, again, God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you. What to expect from this podcast.
Yeah.
And so I think we've covered that a little bit, like just a mix. Like if there's a big sports story, like this is not just going to be momming so hard. Like it's not going to be but it's not going to be, let's talk about the all 22s from the Cowboys game.
It's not super heavy one way or the other.
No.
Right?
It's going to be a little balance.
I think that's kind of, I mean, I haven't mommed next to you, let's say, forever. Like we never have done that. I don't necessarily know what kind of mom you are, but I can tell. Like we're both kind of from the same vein of thought, and we're both going through life in a similar way, where I don't think we're that type of person that wants to sit down and talk about mom stuff and mom stuff only.
Right.
yes, we need to talk about it because it is in our life and it'll hit you right in the face and you can't turn around and look back for 18 years.
Right.
We need to talk
Longer
about
than
it.
that. Yeah.
18,
You're
I know.
committed forever.
I'm still calling my mom like, will you come help me now with my kids?
Yes, you're committed forever. So I think what we're trying to do is just offer a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Some momming so hard, some
Yes.
sportsing so hard, some current eventsing so hard.
Yes, whatever
some
people are talking
humoring
about.
so hard, social mediaing so hard. Just a little bit of everything, like what you and your girlfriends are talking about, what you and your guy friends are talking about. This isn't just for women. This isn't just for men. Like I literally feel like we'll provide content that will appeal to anyone in any demographic.
Yep.
Unless you don't like women and you don't like sports, and then this probably isn't for you. This probably isn't for you. Okay, so we've established who we are, what to expect, what's off limits. So like we've already established that we both have fake boobs. Which
you chose them, I didn't.
I mean, I was hoping to do that like episode 10, big revelation.
Episode 10. Let's talk about our boobs.
Right, but
let's get real.
Okay, so
that's
blown out. But like you said, sex. Like I'm comfortable to an extent.
Did I say sex or did you just say that I said sex?
You said sex.
When did I say sex?
You said when you're turning red. Your chest is red. You said at the ticket you talk about sex and you enjoy it.
No, I said they talk about porn.
You said we talk about porn and sex and I enjoy it.
I didn't.
You can go back and listen to the tape. So what I'm saying is personal stuff is off limits for me. Like I don't put much off limits. That's definitely off.
I wasn't proposing we talk about sex.
I'm just saying I would like to stay married for at least another couple years.
You just said, like, let's talk about
well,
I was kind of like, wait, I didn't know we were going to talk about sex. I wasn't.
You brought it up. Just for the record. So, okay, so we can talk about it in general terms. We're just not going to talk about it personally.
Right. I don't want to do that.
Now you're terrified. Okay.
I meant they talk about sex.
But you did say, and I enjoy it.
I enjoy all of the man stuff.
Like, okay.
I meant to say I enjoy like being there and talking about all the dude stuff.
Fair enough.
I didn't mean they talk about sex and I enjoy it. That's
No, I'm just kidding. Now I'm just trying to dig this hole deeper and deeper for you.
It's fine.
Okay, so we've established what's off limits. That's basically
We're not going to talk about our sex life.
Thank God. Yeah,
I mean, unless we get a sponsor that comes in and says, if the price is right.
No, still not going to happen. I don't need that out there.
I rescind that topic.
No, we don't need that out there. Okay, so that's basically it, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think it'll be just like, excuse me, stories of going through our lives, things that have happened to us, things that maybe come up when it comes to being a mom or parenting that, like, honestly, I half the time have no idea what I'm doing. And I don't know the right answer for things. And I'm not going to be somebody that comes in here and is like, okay, this is how you mom. Like, I want you to do it this way, that way. No, this is me and you just kind of airing our thoughts and frustrations with it all, working through things. And hopefully we can involve the listeners and viewers that way too.
And I think that's the ultimate goal. At the end of the day, we want to create a community. We want to create people who think like us, who don't think like us, but who can identify with us. And then two, maybe people who can give us a different perspective.
Yep.
Because for me, like, that's something I'm always searching for. Like, and I never thought I would be that way, because there was a time when I thought I had everything figured out, and then you realize like you don't have anything figured out. And so I feel like the older I've gotten, the more open, which is crazy because usually it's the opposite. The older I've gotten, the more open I am to other people's thought processes, opinions, beliefs, all that kind of stuff. And so for me, I hope that we are able to create here a forum and a community where we have fun, we laugh, we can be honest, and then at the end of the day, we can all provide each other with some different perspectives and different points of view, and hopefully some help with some things along the way.
Yes, exactly. And we didn't mention, we do hope to have some interviews as well.
Yeah. With
athletes, with wives of athletes, moms of athletes, people that are dealing with a lot when it comes to also juggling life, juggling being a professional hockey or baseball player or the wife of one. How do they do it? And I feel like seeing that side of that person that people can really relate to that maybe you never get to see. That's something that I hope that we can bring to this podcast as well and have some really good, honest conversations that will help people feel even closer to athletes and public figures around here.
Yeah, I want to talk to guys that are dadding so hard while playing sports and
Dirk,
all that fun
dream
stuff.
guest.
Yeah, just putting it out there in the universe. What are the odds that Dirk is listening?
Oh, I'm sure he is.
So slim.
We got to
so
get
slim.
Jessica listening.
Yeah,
I think
there we go.
I think that's the trick.
Okay, so I think we've mission accomplished on episode 1.
Yes.
We put a lot out there.
We did.
I don't know if that was necessarily the
should we
smartest
hit
thing
send?
to do, but let's just roll with it. We're kind of a mess, and it's okay. That's where it is what it is.
It is what it is. And
is.
this is all about being candid and being honest.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that we're doing it, and I'm so glad that you're here. So
yes.
I can't wait to keep this going, and then hopefully get some feedback from people. And if people have questions or topics they want us to talk about, then
let's give. Why don't, for that reason, let's, before we go, give our Twitter handles, just so people can reach out to us, because I think we're going to do a segment every once in a while called Twitter Tweets. That we're gonna
okay.
and I'll explain the reasoning behind that. So Twitter tweets will be coming.
Okay.
I'm workshopping
I
here
love it.
as we go. And so we want it, that'll be the main way to communicate with our awesome community everyone is a part of now. If you're listening to this still, God bless you. So I'm at Emily Jones McCoy, and you are
at Julie Ann Dobbs.
Okay. So check us out on social media. Thanks so much for stopping by. Here comes the most awkward dismount on a podcast ever.
We're called The Mom Game too. I feel like we haven't said that enough.
Yes.
The Mom Game.
The Mom Game.
Sports, all that stuff.
All that stuff.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yep.